People are like, who is Daniellevictor? And I'm like, bitch, it's Danny with 2 N's. Am I a fashion blogger? Maybe. Am I a storyteller? For sure. Am I a badass bitch? Absolutely. So if you're smart, you'll subscribe to my channel.
This dude blocked me on Substack. I think I might be the only human being in the planet that has ever been blocked on Substack. Hi. It's Friday. It's like 10 a.m. Yep, 10, 11 a.m. I wasn't gonna film, obviously. I mean, not obviously, because I filmed with patches on my face before, but I've been up since 3:30 this morning. Got up. It was hard to get up this morning because it was so dark out and it's so cold here now. I worked out. I went to the gym. I did arms. I came home. I walked on the walking pad for an hour. I went for a drive and the drive was nice. There was like not a single car on the road and I went from dark out to the sun coming out, so that was nice. Then I came home and I snuggled in bed with the dogs for like 15 minutes and then I got up. I cooked dinner for breakfast basically. I made egg rice, salmon in the oven, and like an Asian dressing, an avocado cucumber, spicy mayo, salad to put on top with scallions, and made that for me and Gabby. Had a matcha. Discovered this new matcha from a Korean shop. It's literally $5 for 40 grams and it's pretty damn good, not gonna lie. Not as strong as like if I got Japanese ceremonial grade, but for $5 it does what it does. But I was thinking, because everyone's like not home and I'm gonna do like my pre-weekend hair and face maintenance, so because I have a date tomorrow with somebody new. But I was like reflecting on my dating experience, because I've been keeping it real low-key for the past, like, it's been a while. I feel like it's been a minute since I've been out with someone. I was thinking about, I don't know if I told this story here, but I for sure told it on my TikTok, but when I first got Hinge, I matched with this Chinese guy from Boston, and look-wise, very beautiful. Like the mysterious, like dresses really well, big lips, nice facial features. Look-wise, pretty much like what I like in a guy, right? And we matched, but he's pretty much out the gate like, I'm cold, I'm heartless, you seem like you're romantic, I'm not what you're looking for, we're not a match, blah blah blah. But here's my number in case you ever just want to like hook up. So we exchanged numbers, we follow each other on Instagram, and he has a Substack too, and I have a Substack too. And for anyone who doesn't know what Substack is, it's for writers, people that love to write. It's like a Pinterest but for writers. So I subscribed to his profile because he, despite being absolutely absurd with me, is a phenomenal writer. Gotta give him that. Really good at writing. In the beginning, when we were following each other on social media, I subscribed to his Substack. He doesn't post too often, so it's not like he's popping up like crazy on my feed. After like maybe 2 weeks of us not meeting up and it like not working out, because obviously we're both looking for two different things, because even if I'm just hooking up with someone, which is what I've done with the people I've dated off Hinge, I'm dating them first. I'm not just gonna respond to a text at 12:30 in the afternoon and go meet up with a stranger. I'm sorry, I'm in my 30s. That's not the vibe I'm on ever again in life. So he basically said, we're not a match, I'm taking a step back, wish you the best of luck. Okay, cool. He removed me as a follower, unfollowed me, and didn't block me. That was it. That was the end of the story. Life moved on. Okay, my post on TikTok for that was a while ago, so I'm not thinking much of it, right? That's a story that ended before it even began. Life moved on. So I get an email 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was like, so-and-so posted on Substack, and I was like, oh cool, he hasn't posted in like months. I have no ill will towards this man. I've never met him, okay? I just knew like something in me rubbed him the wrong way. I don't know what it was. I don't really know, don't really care, didn't spend much time thinking about it. But I don't have a problem with him and I enjoyed his writing, so why? And I forgot that I even followed him on Substack. So when I saw that email, I was like, oh cool, new article. So you can have the option to read it in your email or read it in the app. So I go to read it in the app and it's like, user not found. I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry, my camera died. Anyways, it goes user not found. So then I go to my profile, and I was only subscribed to him because I don't really spend that much time on there. I haven't subscribed to many profiles. So it says that I'm subscribed to no one. And I was like, that's weird. So then I go into like Google Chrome and I type in his like URL or whatever. And he's there and he did in fact post a new article, like I got my email notification. This dude blocked me on Substack. I think I might be the only human being in the planet that has ever been blocked on Substack. It's like Pinterest. Imagine being blocked on Pinterest. Who the fuck gets blocked on like Pinterest? So I'm like looking at my phone, I'm like, Gabby, am I tripping or is this fucking weird? Like, this is weird ass behavior. And she goes, that makes no sense. And I was like, yeah, I have no idea. I have not talked to this man. I have not had any type of conversation with this man since he basically said we weren't a match and removed me as a follower. It's been months. It's been months. He's been on my profile because like I've always had subscribed, reads, one. So that means when he went to go post his new article, he posted, went to his subscribe list, scrolled through it, found my page, someone he hasn't talked to in months, someone he's never met, and blocked me from Substack. And I was thinking about this as I was like thinking about going on a date tomorrow and how like meeting all these people with different personalities and different personality traits and different trauma and different backgrounds and different history with their parents and their friends and whatever it is that shaped them into the version of them that I'm about to meet. I was thinking about this guy and I'm thinking about all the other guys that I've had conversations with and or have met through this dating app Hinge. And I was thinking about this guy and I'm like, what on earth could possibly possess him to go out of his way, remember that I was subscribed to him, because it's not like he's posted and I'm like liking all his posts and restacking all his posts. He doesn't even post. So it's like, you had to have remembered that you matched with me. We weren't a match according to you. You removed me as a follower, kept me subscribed to your profile for 3 months, September, October, no, 3 months, and then randomly thought of me before and or after posting your new post and said,
gotta get rid of her.
This person that I don't even know. And I thought to myself, I will never understand it, and I could come up here and do like a whiteboard of calculations to try to understand, but something in me triggered him to the point where someone he has not even had communication with needed to be removed from a completely different social media platform. And mind you, when we were texting, I would tell him all the time how great of a writer I is and we'd have a rapport about it, whatever. Never was disrespectful about his work, never was creepy about his work. I don't know this man at all from a hole in the wall. We've never met in person. But I was thinking to myself, something I said or somehow, some way, how I came off to him rubbed him or triggered him in such a way that he had to go out of his way, go through his subscribing list, find my profile, and block me. And so just for shits and giggles, I was like, I wonder if my number's blocked. So I texted him and I said, hey, along the lines of, hey, I think I might be the only human being that's ever been blocked on Substack, but... And I just complimented like everything I pretty much liked about his new post, because once again, phenomenal writer. Never gonna knock someone down just because they don't like me. Never gonna do that. Phenomenal writer. I think he's probably gonna be on the bestsellers list one day if that's in fact one of the goals he's working on. My text went through, delivered. Did I get a response? No. But you didn't block me on Instagram, you didn't block my number, but you went out of your way. Months after you told me we weren't a match, months after we never even met in person, to block my Substack? So I was just thinking about like triggers, and because when he first rejected me, it wasn't even the obsession of meeting him that took over. It was he triggered in me a rejection wound that I felt my entire life. And once you realize why someone's having an effect on you, it is so easy to look at why they're affecting you, take a look at the triggers and be like, okay, I understand that. I need to work on that better next time so that I'm not in a position where I'm hurt or upset or mad because someone is triggering me. And that's really what it comes down to. It's not that you're obsessed with this man or this friendship or your coworker or this job. It's the fact that this person, place, or condition has triggered something in you that you need to take a look at. So when he first rejected me and was like, this isn't gonna work out, I was immediately triggered. Denied being triggered, but it was immediately triggered because I was rooted in rejection. And even at so, when I first started talking to him, I was like, this is weird. Like, it's never been this hard for me in the beginning to meet a guy. Like, usually after I meet a guy, the games begin, right? But the games never really began before I met them. Do you know what I'm saying? And so his response was, there's a first for everything. So I knew right then and there, one should have said, this has never happened to me before, because once you let another person know that you've never been treated in a type of way and this is your first time being treated that way, if they're in any shape or form a narcissist or egotistical or just get off on being some type of memory for you that you'll never forget, you're already giving them the upper hand to be that and do that and for you. So that was my bad. So I almost thought, like, when he rejected me, it was almost like a ha 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 ha, but that I'm the first guy that's ever done that to you. And you were, okay? You were my first and only Hinge rejection, sir. But now you're the first dude to ever go out of his way to block me on Substack, a platform for writers, but not block my number, not block my Instagram. Still there, can still text him, can still look at his IG profile. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's all psychological, but I realized instead of like trying to understand what it has to do with me, I have to be like, there's something in me, look-wise, speech-wise, social media-wise, something about me triggered something in him where he's like, so like, F you. Something about me he doesn't like. And it's not my job to figure out what it is. It's just like, okay, I've gotten to a point where him blocking me on Substack isn't affecting me like how his rejection did when he first said no to me on Hinge. Because I realized that it wasn't about him, it was about how he triggered my abandonment issues, my rejection issues, my self-worth issues. And then when you can focus on those triggers and realize what those triggers are, you can start literally developing yourself into a version of yourself that's so confident, encouraged when you're dating, go with the flow while you're dating, and even communicating with new friends, people, lovers, whatever it is. Because I've realized now, like, even, okay, so after him, the guy from LA flew out and we had a great time, but he lives in LA. And so when he flew back to LA and was like, I'm not ready for a relationship, again, I was triggered. And it wasn't that I was triggered because this guy didn't want to be with me, but at the time it feels so much so that you're like in love with this man and obsessed with this man and blah, 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 and like we could be something. No, I'm obsessed with the fact that you just triggered something in me that's not healed yet, which is my rejection and abandonment. So I go from one Hinge rejection to a great time with this guy who just doesn't live in the same state as me. Because if we lived in the same state, we'd probably have something. Or maybe we wouldn't, I don't know. But I went from one rejection to another rejection. It's almost like I was being tested back to back to back to back. So then I get over that and I start dating someone else. And then the communication between me and this guy in person, great. Vibe is great when we're together. When we're not together, the communication's not good. I'm not really mad about that. I'm just very vocal about what I'm expecting. Hey, this isn't really working for me. And it's not that I'm trying to force anyone to be the person that I desire them to be, but I know that the person that I desire exists. Does that make sense? If I have to say over and over again, I don't really like the way we communicate, this is what I'm expecting, and you're making no progress and no change into changing the communication, it just proves to me as a woman that you don't like me that much. You're not into me that much because you're not making any effort to make this work. And to make this work, I'm telling you what works for me, and you're making no effort to change anything to make me more comfortable and make me feel more safe with you. So then after him, I like go on a date with another guy who has really bad communication skills. And I'm getting a little bit more mad with this one. But I realized it wasn't that I'm mad that it's not working out with this guy because he's not communicating well. Because again, vibrations are great when we're together, yada, yada, yada. I'm getting mad because now this is the second dude in a row I have had to say, hey, the communication style is just not working for me. I would like us to have better communication style. I realize that they're triggering me not being listened to. I want to be listened to. I need you to hear me. I listen to everything you have to say. You need to start paying attention. Do you hear me? Because if you don't hear me, I don't want to be wasting my time. I'm realizing that it's not the men that I'm obsessed with. It's what they're sparking inside of me that's still there from past relationships that I need to reflect on. I'm just making this video because I have a new date tomorrow with this new guy. He's young. I don't know if it'll be like, I don't know where it'll go or what it'll be like, but I'm gonna give it a whirl because why not? You know, it's a holiday season. It's getting cold out. I'd like to do some fun cold shit with someone I think is good looking, and possibly it might turn into something. But I'm realizing now that I've had multiple different experiences from this dating app. Some good, some bad. None of them have worked out. Absolutely none of them have worked out. But all of them have been almost like, it's almost like they were sent into my life to hold up a mirror to myself, to examine what's still there in order for me to heal or work on these unresolved issues I have within myself before the right man can come along and it actually works. That's what I'm getting from my dating experience. Like the dude that blocked me on Substack, he totally was put into my life by God to trigger my rejection, abandonment, and unworthiness issues that are still lingering underneath that I thought was resolved, and they're clearly not. Because if I'm feeling rejected and abandoned and unworthy from some dude I never fucking met who matched with me on Hinge and from the jump said he was heartless and cold and I'm warm and the opposite of him basically, then that has absolutely nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with me because this dude told me exactly who he was. I chose not to listen. I chose to entertain him, and then I allowed him to trigger me. He didn't trigger me. I triggered myself by entertaining a dude like that for fun, entertainment, and attention. That right there is an issue in and of itself, but it's my issue, not his. I just realized now that when he blocked me on Substack and I didn't get mad, I was just like, that's fucking weird. It, again, that right there has nothing to do with me. It has to do with him, and he needs to sit down with himself and ask himself, why did this random chick I've never met trigger me so bad? Because if he doesn't ask himself that and ask himself, why do I hate Daniellevictor? What about her bothered me so much? It's gonna block him from the best woman of his life coming forward, because unless we resolve these issues with ourselves, we're gonna push the right person away. It's an impossibility for me to have unresolved issues that are deep rooted in rejection and abandonment and worthiness, and then expect my husband to walk through the door and it's gonna work out. If I'm not sitting down with myself and saying, hey, these things are still here brewing, and so if the right man comes in and communication is good, as it should be between new couples and relationships and yada yada, I can say, hey, listen, in my past experiences that I've had recently dating, there's been a lot of triggers, and I would like to talk to you about those triggers so we can understand each other and it can work. But you can't do that if you're not taking time to understand yourself. I wanted to come on here and say, LOL, I thought that story was bizarre, because it is bizarre. Him blocking me on Substack. I might be the only person to have ever been blocked on Substack by a complete stranger. We never met up. I never met this dude in person. He is a real person, for anyone wondering. It's not a catfish page. He sent me pictures and I saved the pictures to my camera roll and said the date and time and location. So he is like a real human being that lives in Boston. Beautiful man. Very beautiful. Something about me set him off into a spirally whirlwind of hatred that he had to block me off Substack, but didn't block my number or my Instagram. So if you guys have any psychologists that see this video, please let me know what you think that is, because I just find it so fascinating to have such an impact on someone I don't even know. Now, if we met up for a drink or we hooked up and it ended up bad, or like I met up with him and had a little thing with him and was crazy and was pulling up to his crib, I could get it. Block me everywhere, sir. But we never even met. You told me I wasn't a match and I disappeared. Okay, you don't think we're a match? Life will go on, and life did go on. I've dated lots of people after him, because that's what you do. You stick your foot in the water and, you know, I don't know how that saying goes. I don't even know if that's the right saying, if that's a saying at all, but like basically you just keep kissing a bunch of frogs until you find the prince. And he just wasn't mine, and I accepted that and I moved on. But when he first rejected me, it did trigger me. And so maybe him blocking me again was God testing me to see if I would get triggered in the same way, and I didn't. So I know that I'm making progress on my rejection triggers, but I'm just making this video to say to you that think about everything that goes on in your mind, in your heart space. And you wake up in the morning and you go and you live your life. You go and you live your life and you meet people and you go out with friends and you go out on dates and you hang out with your family. And all the while, when you're going through these experiences, everything you've ever been through, like it could take somebody speaking to you in the wrong tone, and you're triggered, you're set off. So you're going through that personally in your own reality, your own world, but you're also surrounded by other people in their own realities, in their own worlds, who have their own triggers. So instead of getting mad and upset about how someone's treating you, or their lack of communication, or why they just aren't loving you the way you deserve to be loved, or why they aren't showing up the way you deserve to be shown up for, you have to remember that there's a whole fucking shit show of a world storming and brewing inside of them that we just don't know about. Like, this dude could have been through some horrible shit in his life. Maybe like a beautiful woman broke his heart into a million pieces and he just hates beautiful women now. I don't know, because we don't communicate. But instead of taking it personally and being like,
I'm unworthy,
I'm gonna say, oh, I pray for him. I hope whatever of me triggered him, I hope that he heals, because no two souls have a conversation in this world on accident. We were probably meant to match on Hinge just to fucking trigger each other, and that's the truth. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way God puts everyone into play. Hey, you're never gonna have a relationship with this dude, but you've known him for how many lifetimes, and he's gonna come back in this one and trigger the fuck out of you. And this woman's gonna come in and she's gonna trigger the fuck out of you too. And that's just the way it goes. I just want everyone watching this video to know that it's not necessarily about you. Sometimes it has absolutely nothing to do with you at all. Sometimes it just has to do with something that you triggered inside of someone else. And what happens, our reactions with other human beings are our reactions to triggers. That's it. Like, if you're fighting with someone and they use a wrong tone and you just absolutely lose your mind because you haven't learned to control that trigger, the way that someone else is talking to you and not taking it personally, what you're experiencing out in your outer world is your reaction to your perception of how that person is treating you, because you're taking it way too personally. And I think that we just all need to not take shit too personally. I'm gonna go into my dates moving forward. I'm gonna give Hinge probably like 10 more dates, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna delete it. I keep saying I'm gonna delete it and I haven't yet, but like, I'm going on a new date tomorrow and I'm just gonna go in there and be authentically myself. And I'm going to practice counting to 10. If anything is said that triggers me, if anything is done that I don't think is like up to my standards and what I'm looking for in a man or what I'm desiring. But I am still, no matter how many times I get rejected, I know how worthy I am of being treated like a princess and a queen, because it's been so long of like this dating life and just life in general of convincing myself that I'm not worthy of love because I wasn't loved by dudes that triggered me. You know what I mean? Like, if I look past on it, these dudes were all triggers to stuff that was unhealed in me. And usually what I'm chasing in a man, what I'm obsessing of a man, is a quality of myself that I haven't tapped into yet. If I could think back about my relationship with John, I really loved he was very into vision boards and manifestation, and he was a hustler and hardworking, and he lived like a luxurious lifestyle and had nice things and loved animals and was funny. His business side of himself, his hustler side of himself, his rapport, the way he dressed, the way he spoke, the way he carried himself when he walked into a room, I admired that because it's a quality of him that I wanted in myself, but at the time I didn't love myself. Therefore, it was a quality I didn't think I could have or achieve. Therefore, I was obsessing over him because he had it. Something I wanted for myself. So you have to remember that most of the time you're not even really like obsessed with that man. You're obsessed with a quality of him that exists inside of you that you haven't tapped into yet. And he's there to trigger the fuck out of you so that you can finally tap into that quality of him that you already have. Because every time you meet someone, you're really basically just falling in love with yourself. You're falling in love with a person who is literally you in a different form. Does Sometimes it works and sometimes it turns into a trauma triggering fest if you don't realize that you're in the middle of a trauma triggering fest and don't know what to do with the experience. But once you realize that everything is happening to your benefit, to elevate you, to become a better version of yourself, then dating will become quite easy. So this has been quite an interesting dating experience, but I haven't lost hope that romance is out there. The man of my dreams is out there. The way I've always dreamt about of being treated is in fact always meant to happen because it's what I deserve. But in order for that to happen, I also need to have honest conversations with myself about triggers and why these things are still bothering me, and when it all, I don't even think we need to focus on when it started. Fuck that. Don't sit in the past unless it's necessary. But it's important to be like, how can I move past this? And decide from there how you want to resolve your own inner issues, because it's really not issues with anyone else, it's issues with yourself. Like, even when you get caught up in a shitty relationship and then at some point you're like, how did I get here? You got there because of yourself. You stayed because it was a choice that you made. That has nothing to do with the other person. It has everything to do with you and the way you view yourself and your self-worth. Like, there was a time I was in a super abusive relationship. So abusive. So abusive. He put hands on me, you guys. And I stayed. And then at some point I was like, how did I get here? I was too young to understand that now, but now I can say I was there because I put myself in that position. I didn't love myself, so I attracted a man who didn't love himself either. And we were both triggering each other and treating each other like shit because both of us felt unworthy, unloved. It's like a mirror. You're literally looking at yourself. Even if a man is out here like calling you names and calling you ugly and you're sitting there and you're taking it, don't even think about what that man is saying to you. You need to start saying to yourself, why am I doing this to myself? Fuck that man. Fuck anything he has to say. What about you, girl? Why do you think that you should be sitting there and taking it? What happened to you for you to think that you deserve to be sitting there being treated like absolute shit by someone that, quote, loves you? They don't love you because they don't love themselves. If they love themselves, they would love themselves enough to treat you like a human being. So we have to stop pointing fingers and blaming. Oh, well, he did this to me and I stayed, he cheated with 500 girls. Okay, but how did you get there? What choices did you make? And moving forward, how does that relationship trigger you for your next relationship? Because sometimes we have an experience where someone cheats, and so we go into a new relationship already triggered that men are just cheaters. Like, we've just like developed this belief. So you walk into this new relationship thinking that someone is a cheater, but it's really just because you got so triggered from your past relationship, you're carrying that into a new relationship that could be something wonderful. If in fact you have a belief that relationships can still be wonderful. But if you get out of a shitty relationship and you think that all relationships are shitty and all men are shitty, you're only gonna attract shitty men and shitty relationships. And it's gonna be a repetitive cycle over and over and over again. That's why I attracted 2 rejections back to back and 2 bad communicators back to back. So now I'm like, okay, now I know what to look for. So when I go on a date tomorrow night, is he a good communicator? Am I feeling any sort of rejection when I'm sitting next to him at brunch or dinner or whatever he decides to do with me tomorrow? All of those, if you can sit down with yourself, will be viewable. So that way when you walk into a new relationship, you could say to yourself, okay, what is actually happening here and what am I imagining because I'm being triggered? Just some food for thought on this beautiful Friday. So anyways, love you. LOL to being blocked on Substack. And on that note, be sure to subscribe to my Substack. I will have a new post up tomorrow. Love you. Bye.